The African Union was born with a vision that Africa's destiny should be shaped by Africans. It was created to unite, to defend sovereignty, and to unlock the continent's vast potential. Over the years, it has seen successes: the launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area, peacekeeping missions in troubled regions, and a platform for African leaders to sit together under one roof. But, at the same time, it has faced criticism for being too slow, too cautious, and sometimes too silent when action was most needed. Today, the question we must ask is not simply what the O has done, but what it must do next. Because Africa cannot afford to wait another generation. The challenges are urgent, and the solutions must be bold. First, the O must transform its approach to peace and security. Too many African lives are lost to wars that drag on for years. While the O issues statements and holds meetings, the time for statements has passed. Africa needs an effective continental defense system, rapid response forces, mediation teams, and the power to intervene before conflicts spiral out of control. The O must show that no African country will ever stand alone against terrorism, insurgency, or civil war. Protecting African lives must become the top priority. Second, the O must deliver on the promise of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Right now, Africa trades more with the outside world than with itself. Borders are heavy with tariffs, paperwork, and corruption. This suffocates Africa's growth. The O must push member states to remove these barriers and back the agreement with real infrastructure. Roads that link nations, railways that move goods, digital systems that connect people, and modern borders that encourage unity instead of division. The dream of a single African market must move from paper to reality. Third, the O must invest in Africa's youth. This continent is the youngest in the world. Every day, thousands of young Africans graduate with hopes, ideas, and energy. But too many are left unemployed, underemployed, or forced to migrate in search of opportunity. The O must make youth empowerment a continental emergency. Invest in education that prepares students for the future. Support innovation hubs where technology, creativity, and entrepreneurship can thrive. Create policies that allow young Africans to lead, not just wait. Because the future of Africa is not in its resources, is in its people. Fourth, the O must finally speak with one voice on the global stage. Africa has 54 states, but too often 54 separate positions. In climate talks, trade negotiations, and international diplomacy. This division weakens the continent's bargaining power. The O must coordinate a single African voice, one that represents the people, one that demands fairness, and one that ensures Africa is not a bystander in global decisions. A United States of Africa may still be a dream, but a united African voice is something that must happen now. Fifth, the O must hold leaders accountable. Too many leaders sign O charters on democracy and human rights, then return home and ignore them. Too many citizens see the O as a club of presidents, disconnected from the struggles of ordinary Africans. That must change. The O must be a guardian of democracy, of justice, and of people's rights. If leaders refuse to serve their people, the O must have the courage to act. Without accountability, unity is only a slogan. And finally, the O must reconnect with ordinary Africans. Too many people see it as distant, far away in Addis Ababa, speaking in long speeches that change nothing. But the O should be a people's union, not just a leaders' union. It should open its doors to African civil society, entrepreneurs, students, and workers. It should be present in the lives of Africans, not just on summit stages. The role of the African Union is not to exist, it is to transform. It cannot be satisfied with small steps when the continent needs a giant leap. The next chapter for the O must be bold, decisive, and people-centered. Africa is standing at a crossroads. One road leads to more division, more dependency, more disappointment. The other road leads to unity, prosperity, and power. The O must choose the second road, and it must do so now. The failures of yesterday cannot define tomorrow. What matters is what comes next. And what comes next must be an African Union that unites, protects, and empowers. A union that turns the dream of a strong, independent, and prosperous Africa into reality. If you believe in Africa's future, if you believe the O can and must rise to its true mission, then add your voice to this conversation. Like this video, share it with others who care about Africa's destiny, and subscribe to this channel. Together, we can keep pushing for an African Union that is not just an institution, but a force for transformation. Africa's time is now. The African Union must rise, and history will remember this generation as the one that demanded more, expected more, and built the Africa we deserve.